What is going on, guys? Welcome back for another TensorFlow tutorial. So in this video, we're going to take a look at how to use callbacks and also how to create custom callbacks. And so for those of you who aren't familiar with callbacks, I better explain what that is. So basically, callbacks are a way to customize the behavior of your model during either training or evaluation. And I think it's going to become more clear when you actually see some examples of what it's capable of. But before we dig into that, let's just quickly go through the code. So most of this or all of this is familiar from previous videos. We just have imports. We're loading the MNIST dataset with TensorFlow datasets. And then this is just to avoid GPU errors. And then so we're loading the MNIST dataset. We're normalizing the images by using map on the dataset, cache, shuffle, batch, prefetch, all from the TensorFlow dataset tutorial. Then we're creating a very small model, just one conv layer and then one final dense layer. I guess we should just have layers.dense right here. And then, all right, and then you shouldn't see this part. So I'll just remove this for now. All right, so then we have model compile, and then we have model.fit. So this is what the starter code looks like. All right, the first thing we want to do is let's do a save callback. So I've showed you how to save and load models, but it's been done after a training. So sort of if you're running for 10 epochs, then I've shown you how to save it after it's done training, after this model.fit. But let's say you want to actually, save it during training, perhaps every epoch, perhaps you only want to save sort of the best model so far. And I'll show you a way to do that. And this is a perfect example of what a callback is. So basically, let's do it after we create our, let's do it here before the model compile. So we'll do save callback is Keras.callbacks model checkpoint is the one we're going to use. And so Keras has a bunch of different callbacks, and I recommend you to check out the documentation for all of the ones. And then this one also has a bunch of arguments that we can send in. I'm just going to use some of them. So first of all, we're going to specify a file path. So we're just going to call it checkpoint. Then we're going to do save weights only. We're going to set that to true. And then we're going to do monitor. Let's do so that it monitors the accuracy. And then let's also do, so then we can also have an argument that we're only going to save the best one. So for example, we could do save best only equals true or false. Let's set false so that it actually saves it every epoch. And I'm also going to show you custom, so how do we create our custom callback, and you could sort of specify whenever you want to save it. All right, so what we do then when we have this save callback, we're going to go to our model.fit. We're going to do callbacks, and then we're going to, so callbacks argument equals, and then a list. And we're going to send in that callback. So in this case, save callback. And so let's start with that and let's run it and make sure that it works. All right, so in that file, there's a folder with the weights of the model. So it seems to work. And then I'm going to show you sort of how we can add another callback. And let's say we want to have a learning rate scheduler. So we can have the initial learning rate of 0.01, and then we want to change the learning rate as the epoch progresses. So how we can do that is, let's say we do, first of all, we're going to define our scheduler function. So we're going to define scheduler, we're going to send in the epoch and learning rate. And then we can do something like if the epoch is less than 2, then we're just going to return the learning rate. And otherwise, we could do return learning rate times 0.99. So essentially, we're decreasing it by 1% every epoch. And this is for you to decide if that's a good scheduler. I'm just showing you one example, and you can implement this the way that you want to. And then we're going to do learning scheduler is Keras.callbacks.learning rate scheduler. We're going to send in that function, and then we're also going to set in verbose equals 1, just for getting print statements when it's changing the learning rate. And so let's rerun it and make sure that it works. Oh yeah, so this was a mistake on my part. We also gotta send it in. So here for the callbacks, we're just gonna make a comma and then we're just gonna add that one. So learning rate scheduler, and hopefully now it works. All right, so as you can see here, it's decreasing the learning rate every epoch, and it's doing it by, yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, but approximately 1%. And yeah, so then you can of course do more advanced ones. And all right, so this official tutorial by TensorFlow on writing custom callbacks is pretty good, and I'm gonna link it in the description below as well. And this is the one I've read through a lot to get the information that I'm providing to you now. And so essentially, when you're creating your own custom callbacks, you have all of these different functions that you can customize the behavior of the model to. So for example, on training begin, you could do something. You can, I mean, it's sort of up to you to choose what to do, but there are a bunch of different functions to where you can customize the behavior. So on train end, on epoch begin, on epoch end, on test begin, and a bunch of different ones, and also on test end, on predict begin, and so on and so forth. So let's try to build our own custom callback. It's going to be a quite simple one, but hopefully it's going to illustrate what it can do. We're just going to use one of these functions. We're going to use this one, define on epoch end. Although you can use different ones and experiment with this. And I'm also going to link you this tutorial in the description. All right, so let's go back to the code. What I'm going to do is create class, and then let's call it just custom callback. Then we're going to inherit from keras.callbacks.callback. And then, as I said, we're just going to use define on epoch end. We're going to send in epoch, and then we're going to set logs equal none as default. But we're going to get sent in logs. I'm going to show you. So we can do print. First of all, we can do logs.keys. So let's print that, and it's going to print every epoch at the end. And I did the same mistake as previously. We obviously got to initialize this and send it in. So what we can do here is we can do, at the end of this, we can do custom callback and then call it, or initialize it rather, and then hopefully we'll see the behavior that we want. All right, so as you can see here, there's a dictionary, and you have loss, accuracy, and learning rate. I also want to mention that when you're having a validation set and a training set, this loss and accuracy is going to become train accuracy, train loss, val accuracy, val loss, and so on. So for example, let's see here. So for example, here, when we're monitoring the accuracy, if you're using if you have both a training and a validation, you need to specify which one to monitor. So you might, in this case, monitor the val accuracy or something like that. Just mention it so that if you have a training and validation set, you need to specify exactly the one that you want to use here. So you can obtain those using this print logs.keys. And so as we saw, we have loss, accuracy, and then learning rate. So what we're going to do is we're going to do if logs.get. So let's get the accuracy. And then let's say if the accuracy is, I don't know, above 0.90%. All right, that's awful, but you get the point. So if it's above 90%, in this case on the training accuracy, but of course, as I said, if you have validation set as well, you can do val accuracy, and then that's fine. So if that's the case, we're going to do print accuracy over 90%, quitting training. And then we can do self.model.stop training equals true. And this is just one example of what you can do with custom callbacks. And again, there are more more lengthy ones in the tutorial, in the official tutorial, where you can use all of these different functions on the custom callback. But anyways, let's see that this works, and let's run this. All right, so it got accuracy over 90% over just one epoch. So accuracy over 90%, quitting training right there. And of course, so for example, instead of doing on epoch end, maybe you want to check after the batch. So exactly when that batch hits that accuracy, we want to quit. So you could do on batch end. But anyways, that's it for callbacks and how to write some very simple custom callbacks. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you have any questions, leave them below, and I hope to see you in the next video.